celebrate the coronation of King Charles next weekend. King Charles III. There's plenty of ways you can do this, but this morning, news of a bit of a specialist celebration happening in the county. Bell ringers across Suffolk have been busy practising so they can ring for the King next weekend, and they're always looking for some new volunteers to help out. Let's catch up with Anna Louise Claydon now, our Wayne Baven Show roving reporter. She's at a church in Bramford to tell us more. Hello, Anna Louise. Have you had a ding on the dongy yet?
I have not had a ding on the dong, but I tell you what, Wayne, I've only just caught my breath. I did not think about bells, church towers, and how high I would have to climb. I've got a fear of heights. My legs have only just stopped shaking. I've only just got my breath back, but we made it to the top. We've got satellite signal up here, unbelievably, and I'm with the Vicar of Bramford, Reverend Eric Faller. Eric, we made it to the top.
Well done. Good
Just
climb.
a day in the life for you.
Absolutely. I'll be third time up this week.
Now take us through. This is a story that begins about 18 months ago when you placed out an advert asking for volunteers to help celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, isn't it?
That's right. I just put an ad hoc ad on our Facebook page for the village, and I didn't tell the bell tower captain that I was going to do it. And then all of a sudden one night, 5 ladies turned up to learn bell ringing with us. Wow. And we still have them with us. 4 of them are with us today.
And did you expect such a huge turnout?
No, I expected one.
Hoped for one.
And thankfully the 5 turned up, and we've gone from strength to strength since then. We've rung for the Platinum Jubilee, we rang for the Queen's funeral, and now we're getting ready to ring for the coronation on Saturday next week.
So how do you go about teaching a complete beginner to ring a bell?
I think I could tell you that, but I think John Joy, our bell captain, would be the best.
Well, let's jump over to meet the bell captain. John, how do you teach a complete newbie?
Well, you start with the bells in a safe position, what we call down, because when we ring them a little later on this morning, they start in the up position, because they go all the way from up to down and back up again. So you start with them in the down position where they're completely safe.
And you have to, the only way they're going to move is by you pulling on them, yes. Yanking on them.
And you get your person who's learning, and they keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling until the bell is striking, and then continue on. And once they get that practiced and that right, then they continue and they put the bell, what we call up. So we're in a dangerous position, actually.
A dangerous position?
Well, if you don't know what you're doing.
What could happen?
You see that small hole up there?
I see the hole, yes.
You go through that.
You could get launched through the ceiling.
Yes, if you don't do it correctly.
I'm laughing, but I'm laughing with terror.
No. There's no terror about it, because we teach you properly, you see.
Wow, I never knew the perils of bell ringing.
Oh, yes. That's why you keep both feet on the floor.
Have you ever had anyone flung through the air?
Definitely not.
And is it you say about pulling and yanking on the quite substantial rope we've got in front of us? Is it a muscle workout? Do you have to work out for this exercise?
No, not at all. It's very good for your chest muscles, because it keeps your breathing going. If you've got a problem with your back, it's very good for that, because it's a nice gentle exercise.
How would you get up the tower stairs with a problem with your back?
One foot in front of the other.
I was told, don't look down, just keep on moving.
We've had people in their 80s come up here on the bottom. They come up on the bottom.
They just sort of crawl up. Wow, I'm loving the little motion you're doing that our listeners can't see, that you're sort of hobbling along on your bum, which is just brilliant, John. Well, let's just jump over and meet some of the new starters, shall we? Let me just jump on over. What's your name?
Katie.
Katie, you were one of those who responded to the advert. What was going through your mind when you saw it on Facebook?
So I recently moved to the village and I didn't really know anybody, so I thought it was a really good opportunity to get to know some people in the village. And
but you could have done that through a walking group or a cake and coffee session.
The first thing that came up on Facebook was Eric's lovely post about bell ringing, so I thought that sounds interesting, we'll give it a go.
And what was it that intrigued you about bell ringing? What did you sort of imagine it would be like?
Nothing like it was in real life. So I imagined it was going to be fairly simple, and I would come and it was, just as simple as pulling the rope, and there's so much to it. And I think the first time we came down, it was so overwhelming, of the sounds when you're actually in the tower, and there was butterflies flying everywhere. It was like something out of a Disney movie, really. But it was fantastic, and the wealth of knowledge that these guys have got that have been teaching us, and when you do then pick it up and you actually ring properly and
break it down for us, for someone who has no idea what this takes, and who when watching it looks like you are pulling up and down on the rope. Break it down for us mentally, physically, and what's going through your mind.
So they break, when we start learning, they sort of slowly, they go through each stage really slowly, and you start to, when you're pulling the rope, you then feel the strength of the bells and the weight of the bells, and it really then makes you appreciate how dangerous it is, and focus on what they're teaching you.
Have you ever been flung through the air, as we've just been hearing?
A little bit. When you're ringing the bells down, you get lifted up a little bit, and then it's just trying to control it, really. And it shouldn't be heavy. If you're doing it correctly, it shouldn't pull you as much. It's more about sort of controlling it on the balance and making sure that you're controlling the bell and not letting the bell control you. So,
and what do you get out of it? What do you go home feeling like after you've been bell ringing?
We just have such a good time together. I think it helps that the five of us have started together, and ringing together, and we have such a laugh, and it's just conquering each of the steps that the learners teachers are sort of trying to help us to learn.
And on very momentous occasions as well. You are there doing something very important on very historical days.
It's for some big events, so that's been a massive part of it as well.
How do you cope with the pressure on something so big as the Queen's Jubilee or the Queen's funeral or now the coronation?
I don't know. We don't. We get very anxious, and then we celebrate afterwards if it's gone well. But
and did you do what you set out to do and make friends along the way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we all meet up and have some lovely occasions together as well, don't we? And we do some. We've been doing bell tours and sort of learning to ring at different churches as well, because a lot of the churches are different. They have different height bells, and the ropes are at different heights and things. So it's been a good experience to get out and experience different places. So
not all of them entail a rather long stretch of a climb to get to the tower.
Not as many steps at other towers. So I think we've probably, apart from I think Lavenham's got a higher tower than us, but other than that, we're fairly steppy here. So yeah.
How many hours of rehearsals have you put in for the King's coronation?
So we come once a week. We come from 7:30 until 9 o'clock every Tuesday, and during that time there's other ringers here, so we sort of take it in turns doing different things, and then our band of 6, so the 5 girls and the vicar or whoever else is joining in that night, will practice different call changes and different methods ready for whatever set piece we're doing for that.
I was about to ask you about your set pieces. John, I'll ask you, what sort of pieces do you prepare for a coronation?
Well, you've seen the numbers.
We've got a whiteboard in front of us up at the top of the tower.
And those are what...
We've got numbers in front of us. It means absolutely nothing to me.
No, they don't mean anything to me. No, they just tell the caller what to call to get the bells to go into a different order.
Oh, you should see the face I'm pulling right now. Do you need to be good at maths, John?
No, it helps, yes. I think...
You need to be able to count to 5.
Rhythm is the most important thing.
Okay.
You don't have to be musical because you can't play a tune on these bells.
No, so you won't be playing a tune, but you play a set piece and a set rhythm for certain events like the coronation. Well, should we hear one of them now? Would that be possible?
Yeah,
wow, everyone's going to move into motion. We've got ropes in front of us, padded benches alongside the very old brick tower. I'm going to stand somewhere out of the way so that I don't get pulled up and catapulted through the tower ceiling. We've got our bell ringers there leaning up. They're stretching high. And I think we're going to hear in 3, 2, 1.
Look 2, trouble's going, she's gone.
And there's Anna Louise Clayton at the church in Bramford as they practice their ring for the King. How exciting. It's 5 to 12 now.